Yo, what's cracking, folks? Jeremy Vassar here, and today we're doing another job site video. I haven't actually asked for permission from the homeowners yet if I can film, because I have not actually been to this job site. I haven't seen it. I've only seen pictures, and I'm working for my buddy Trevor, who redid this bathroom. So we will see if when I get there, I'm gonna ask, and then usually it's cool. But if it's a no-go, then you won't even see this. So whatever. But yeah, should be cool. Not really sure how much prep out I have to do. Generally, these bathrooms require a little bit more spackling and some stuff like that. But the goal, because this is quite a bit further away than I usually work from my house, I really just want to make sure that I can finish this thing in 2 days. So we'll see what that all looks like when we get there, and I already got the paint, so we're ready to rip. And got a new snazzy camera with us today. I got a GoPro Hero 10, so I'm pretty stoked about that. We will see how that goes, and it's kind of what's up. So we're gonna go head over to the job site, and then we'll see how she goes. All right, ready to go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a problem. So that's not what you want. That's a little unfortunate day for him. Alrighty. Alrighty, so we made it onto the job site and got the thumbs up to film, so that's yay for that. So here is the bathroom, kind of my first eyes on it as well. I brought up my stuff and got everything situated with the homeowner and everything, so we're ready to go. All right, so I'll give you the super quick tour, and I'll probably have a pan of this as well with my wider lens here. But this is the kind of shower and water closet area. No shower doors or anything on there. This is probably coming later. And then we've got a little closet right there. Boom. Toilet area and just basic ceiling. We've got some hi-hat lighting, and then over here we've got the vanity. Still waiting on the vanity top, but I'll be done before that comes in, and probably a mirror situation right here. We've got a couple doors to the outside hallway and the adjoining bedroom. That's kind of what we're looking at. And goals today, basically I want to make sure that this is just a 2-day job, which should be no problem. What I really want to get done today is prep out all of the trim, and if I can get all the trim done, so that would be trim and the doors, and if I can get the ceilings done as well. So tomorrow all I'm left with is the walls, and I may decide to go ahead and prime all the walls depending on how my workflow goes today. So that is what's up, and I think one of the things that I want to focus on in this particular video is showing you guys how to prep out trim properly, because there's some really good examples of brand new trim that has some, it needs some love. So I'll show you guys kind of how to do that, and that'll probably be one of the main things that I kind of feature, because we've done quite a few bathrooms on this channel already. So this will be another one, but I'll hopefully point out some things that you guys will find interesting. All right, so one of the things we want to do first is actually putty all of the wood holes that are going to be here and here and kind of throughout. And before I always wood putty before I start to caulk, because I want to wood putty everything, sand it, vacuum it, and then do our caulking. So that's how I like doing it, and it's how we generally do it on site. I'm using wood filler from Sherwin-Williams. You can use a lot of different wood fillers. This is the kind that I like. And we're just gonna go ahead and putty all of our little holes. And this will have to be addressed pretty good. That's gonna need some caulk for sure. This is always fun. I'm looking forward to caulking back here too. All right, I'm looking pretty awesome with the GoPro on, but I'm not gonna take it off because I'm gonna keep using it here for a little while. I just wanna show you guys real quick how it looks once you wood putty, and I just want to get a little bit closer with this camera. These are the wood putty spots, these little orange parts. Generally you're going to see it down in this kind of quarter round, and then also tacked up in the trim. So everything has been wood puttied now. I'm gonna sand it. So I'm gonna sand all these little spots, and then I'll vacuum, and then I'm going to start to caulk, and I'll get into more detail with what the caulking looks like here in a second. There's some pretty monster gaps in here. Part of that might be due to the wood or the bowing of the walls or whatever, but just as long as the pieces aren't moving, we'll be able to caulk that in and it won't have any issues. It'll look pretty snazzy when we're all done. Wood putty has had some time to dry, so now I'm just going to sand it with 150 grit sandpaper and just kind of go with the grain. We are wood puttied, sanded, and vacuumed, so the trim is nice and clean for us. And now I'm going to be caulking, and I'm going to use a dripless caulk gun that I got from Sherwin-Williams, one of my favorites. And then this is just Powerhouse caulk from Sherwin-Williams as well. And it's the red one, it's the 60 year. We use this for interior, exterior, for most of these applications. And you'll see me kind of when I, as you see like the GoPro footage, we're gonna be doing 2 beads of caulk. So one between the quarter round and the actual baseboard, and then one between the baseboard and the wall. So show you guys out here real quick. So we're gonna be doing, so I had a little light here for you guys. All right, so we're gonna be doing a bead of little caulk right here all the way around, and then there you'll see some bigger gaps between the wall and the baseboard here, and I'll be doing a bead there as well. And you'll kind of see it in the footage that I'm about to take with the GoPro. It's basically I'm going to do a little piece, and then you want to run your finger on it. Your finger, a clean finger is literally the best thing to spread caulk. So there are some tools and stuff that people use, but keeping your fingers clean is super important. I'm actually going to soak a rag in water to make sure I'm just getting all the schmutz off of my fingers, and that really creates the best line. My brother is super quick at this, but I'm not too bad myself, but that's kind of what we're going to be doing. And then the things to watch for when you are caulking is you just want to make sure, like over here you can see there's a pretty big gap. See the gap between the wall and the top of this baseboard. As long as this thing's not moving when I'm pushing it, see it's not flexing or wiggling at all, that'll be fine when we fill it with caulk. You're not even going to notice once it's painted. But if it does wiggle a lot, what you want to do is then hit it in with a few more nails, make sure it's not wiggling at all, and that way your caulk won't crack out once you put it on. So that's what's going on right now. Got a little extra right here, it's totally fine. Yeah, so this is a pretty monster gap back here. I'm going to take a few passes with the old caulk gun. We want to fill all this in. We probably will fill this up in here too. Also important to keep the tip of the caulk gun clean. You'll see when I open a new tube, you cut it at an angle here, so that's going to fit right between the, you know, the gaps in the wall and then the top of the baseboard. All right, so back here, there's just a couple bigger gaps that have not gotten filled in on the first pass. So I'm gonna just go ahead and, you don't have to wait for the caulk to dry. You can just keep going over it until you've kind of gotten it how you want it to look. So I'm gonna lay another bead right in that. That was a pretty big gap in there. Blue paper towels or paper towels of some kind are a must. I'm gonna caulk in this back line a little bit more. A couple other spots to look for are in between this baseboard here and the door frame here. I'm just gonna caulk that in as well. And then this outside edge where these two corners meet, that's a little wide, so paint's not gonna fill all of that in. That's a big one back there. Yeah, these are some pretty big gaps. Need to keep. All right, so I've got all of the baseboard caulked now, and there was definitely some monster gaps in there. So some little bit of caulk and paint make it what it ain't going on, but that's all good. So side note, did you see that overturned tractor trailer on the way over here? That I was like, man, what is taking so long? And we were there for a hot second, but you know, my day is not going as bad as that dude's day. I feel like as a trucker, if you tip your truck over, it's a bad scene. But anyway, we made it, we're good. So now that the trim is all prepped out and still have some more prep to do in here. So what's gonna happen now is I'll probably do some more time-lapse stuff. But you'll kind of notice, you may have noticed before that I haven't put down any drop cloths yet, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now. But before I do, I'm going to tape out around the bottom of the baseboard. It works out really good when you have tile. I'm going to use green 2-inch frog tape. You've probably seen me do this before in some other bathrooms that I've done if you're watching my other videos. But it just gives you a little buffer. I'm not really worried about getting paint on it when I paint the baseboard. More of the from like the splatter coming off of the roller and stuff when I do the ceiling and the walls. So my goal today is still to get 2 coats on the trim and the doors, and as far on the ceilings and the closet as I can, because that's going to be the same paint as well. So the closet and the ceiling are going to be the same paint. So that will be what I'm going to do right now, and I think we're still in good shape. The caulk should be dry enough from when I caulked it this morning to start running my top coats of trim on there. And the homeowner supplied the trim paint. So we've got Super Paint Semi-Gloss from Sherwin-Williams, which it's not typically the paint that I use, but it's not terrible. It's a fine trim paint that'll work just fine. And then we're going to be using Duration Matte Untinted on the ceiling and Fleur de Sel Duration Matte on the walls. I think the number on that is 7666, all from Sherwin-Williams, if you are interested in that type of thing. So now we're just going to rip on the trim, and we should be kind of scooting along here. So most of the trim is done. I've gotten all of the frames and everything done. That both sides of that door is done as well. So we got a little run right here. So I'm gonna do, because we're just doing the interior of this bathroom, I'm just doing this side of the doors. When I paint this door, I'm just gonna hit this and then this whole front face here. So yeah, and then when I paint these, I always do the toe or the heel first, and then I'll come and do the face of it. So I'll just explain what I'm doing a little bit more as I'm doing this one. So I think the homeowner already pulled off the hardware, so we don't have to paint around any of that stuff or take any of that off, which is definitely makes that go faster. All right, so on a door like this that we're obviously brushing, I'm just going to scoot the drop cloth close. So these doors have kind of grain to them. So this is faux grain. These are like hollow core doors, but they have this grain that's in them. So when you paint it, you want to paint it with the grain. That's how it's going to look the best. And generally I start with the panels. I'm going to do this top, kind of gum around the edges here. And then when you're watching for things to pool up, generally you might get some drips down in these corners or like up on this lip here. So just keep an eye out for that. And then once I do the edges here, then I'm going to fill in this middle of the panel, doing kind of vertical overlapping strokes here. And I've noticed when people are taking a little bit too long with painting trim, a lot of times they're over brushing the paint. You don't need to overwork it. Generally most of the good paints out there nowadays, even something like super paint, has some decent leveling to it. So you're just trying to get it so that it's even, and you've got a nice even coat over your surface, and then kind of let the paint do its thing. As long as you don't get any runs or anything, you're good. You don't need to work it for an extremely long amount of time. A door like this for someone that's kind of moving should be, I'm not timing myself right now, and if I wasn't explaining it, I'd be probably going a little faster, but this panel setup is pretty easy. You should be doing this definitely under 10 minutes, and for me, I am doing this right around in like the 5 to 6 minute range, particularly with no hardware on it. So. And there's lots of patterns you can do these types in. These are kind of more the newer type of panel doors. You'll see a lot of 6-panel doors. Those are more, I would say, the more common type, but these are not. I've seen plenty of these as well, particularly in a development like this. All right, so that's one coat on there. I don't know how long that took me, but yeah, you should be scooting along pretty quick on these. You definitely want to get your times down, because a lot of times you're going to end up doing a lot of doors. Particularly, you might have the same type of door in your house, so you'll end up doing the same pattern, and yeah, get some stuff going on. All right, just this one to go, and then we're done. Trim coat number 1. Alrighty, so end of day one here. I was able to get 2 coats on the trim, which I'm stoked about. I was not able to get a second coat on the ceilings because I had to spackle some stuff, which is fine. I will take care of that first thing tomorrow morning and sand and prime some stuff. But yeah, but trim and doors are dunsies. And pretty much tomorrow all I gotta do is smash the ceiling and then start working on these walls, and I don't think it should be too much of an issue. They're looking in pretty good shape. I also did some more spackling on them as well. So that's where things stand, but it's time to hit the road and go back home. So ready to go. All right, quick little recap on what kind of transpired with the rest of this job. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, but after day one, my back was toast because I currently have a nerve impingement in my lower back. It's actually a pretty awesome herniation in L5S1, if you're into that sort of thing. So the painting doesn't really jack it up, but driving does, and that job was a little over an hour away from my house. So after day one, that was 2 hours of driving, which was pretty aggressive, and I was not able to make it back to the job site, so I actually called in my brother, Joshua Nelson, who was kind enough to go and finish that job up. So you saw the before pictures of before I started, and then here are the after images of after Josh finished what he had to do, which was 1 more coat on the ceiling and then 2 more coats on the walls, which he was able to do quite easily on day 2, so he finished in time, and that was great. And then here are the after pictures that I got from Trevor, who's the fella that put the bathroom together, and those pictures are all from like all the stuff he put in, like the towel bar and the mirror and the vanity top. So it's pretty much what the bathroom's going to look like when it's all said and done. I think they're still waiting on glass for the shower. So I just wanted to make sure I did a proper wrap up of this video, letting you guys know what's going on, and that's what's up. So if you enjoyed that video, you can check out another bathroom video that I did not too long ago, where my nerve was also impinged, but that is not your problem. So I will link to that video at the end of this one, and thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, y'all take it easy, work smart, and have a good one. Peace.
Amazing.